welcome to this edition of PC Voyage. I'm Andrew Doty.
And I'm Rainey Laviolette.
On this week's episode, we have the second part of the interview with Dave Orcutt, who runs a bulletin board in the area.
And we also have Bob Clements with PC Voyage News and Jim Dokes with Bits and PCs. But first up, Keith Davis again with his second half of his interview with Dave Orcutt, who runs the Pioneer Valley Computer Club bulletin board. Keith.
Now, you hear talk from time to time about computer viruses, and people getting computer viruses into their system, and there's several mechanisms that people get viruses on, and occasionally bulletin boards are listed as culprits. And what are your comments on that and your thoughts on that?
Okay, I'm going to be very restrained when I do respond to you, because most comments listed in magazines have been incorrect. We've been in operation, as I said, over 9 years here, and we've never come across a virus. That's not saying they're not out there. They are out there. But they're generally passed by computer user to computer user by handing disks to each other, copying things they shouldn't be copying, and surprisingly, some comes in commercial software. But any files coming to the BBS that are going to be used by a user, someone that's calling the system, are all checked for viruses prior to the user being able to touch them. The file comes here, it's uncompressed, it's scanned for viruses, it's checked for file integrity, and then it's finally placed on the system. So when it's here, the file is in good shape.
And how about any other data coming out of the bulletin board, as far that's not files, let's say? Then that's a function of your board sending data out, just like the menus and so on. Is there any chance of viruses being linked into that sort of thing?
No, not at all. The only way you can get a virus is by running a program, by actually running a program on your operating system. All you're taking here is data to your computer, and you're reading it. I would say the problem is that they're mostly misunderstood by many people, and there's a lot of fear about them, and many places won't call a bulletin board because they have this fear by reading things, and just, it's really ignorance of what's out there. I could show you very quickly how a file does come in and get tested, if you like.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay, I'm going to upload a file called test PVCC. Zip. And it's a compressed file, as all files are that come here. So it's in compressed format.
So you're simulating now someone who would be sending a file up to the board to give to you.
That's correct. And after you type in the file name that you're sending, it asks you for a description of the file. You can put a slash in front of it to make it private, and I'll do that because I don't want it in the main file areas. So I'm just going to type in, this is a test upload to PVCC. And after I hit enter, it's going to ask me for my local file path, and I'm just going to type in V. Okay, and it's sending the file. It's very quick in a local mode. Right now it's checking it to see if there's any descriptions in the file, It very quickly unzipped the file, tested for the age of the file. Now it's searching and scanning it for viruses very quickly. It's replacing any zip file comments that are in it. It's deleting any BBS advertising that might have come from another system. And it's putting in a description if it's found in the file. It's also, right now, checking to see if the file exists on the system. I have a duplicate checker that checks every file that comes in to see that the same file isn't uploaded twice. Even if the name is changed, the content signature of the file will stop it from being uploaded here.
Okay, so in other words, this just went through a routine of several steps of unarchiving it and checking it, virus checking it too. It's already done that.
That's correct. And as you see, the end result is it says passed. And that means it's fine. It's available for anyone to download. I'm not sure if I can say. Here's the file right here. This is the way it's listed in the directories. And it says this is a test upload. It tells you when the latest file is and when the oldest file is.
And who it came from.
Who it came from.
Great.
Yeah, we don't like to take any chances here. As I say, we've never had a virus. We don't need any viruses, and our users don't need any viruses. We have shareware virus checkers here too for anyone that is interested in checking their own systems. Like McAfee's is very prominent in that field, and also the Norton antivirus Michelangelo checker is here too, which is a shareware rendition.
Right. Okay, well that's... So we have messaging, we have games, you have files and conferences, and are there any other major portions of the board?
Well, we have 4 CD-ROMs available to our users. Actually, system storage is over 5 gigabytes here, so we do have a tremendous amount of storage capability. Currently, on online files, I would say it's just under 3 gigabytes of files available, about 36,000 files.
Wow.
So there's files available on just about every subject they could want, whether it's a personal usage type program or something that's checked the chlorine in their swimming pool, or shareware word processing programs, databases. The nice thing about shareware is software that you try before you buy. It's not like commercial where you go into a store and you're locked into what you buy. With shareware, if you like it, you register it. Some of the shareware programs are probably equal to or better than commercial software that's out there in the market. So there's really a good handle on software, and there's new stuff coming out every day, and we receive it all the time.
And you get all the current upgrades to the software through another network, or?
I get a lot of software direct from the author in the mail, and I do get a lot of files by calling out or by people calling in and sending me the latest files. Some of the people on the board, friends of mine, call the larger boards in the New York area or in the Chicago area, and if they see something new, they'll send it here. So it helps everybody.
Now, some boards I sign on to are free, and some are subscription, meaning we pay an annual fee or something. What's the status of the PVCC board?
It's both. We have a public node. This is a free node. The other nodes are member nodes. They're supported by the users through annual fees. And, it doesn't cover the cost, but it does help.
Okay, and when you call in, do you have access to all these lines, or is that a function of what level user you are?
It's a function of your level. The public node person, the person that's not a paying member, would have access to this one phone line. If you're a paying member, you would have access to the other lines, and we have a total of 6 here.
Now something tells me this was not all built in one day, and I also, I sign on to boards that seem to be one telephone line, one computer. Is that the case for a lot of boards out there?
The vast majority of boards are single line systems, yes. This, of course, we started out with one line here back in, I believe it was May of 82. I think that's correct. And we started out with a Commodore 64 with 5 drives piled to the ceiling here, and it was where we would change a disk every Sunday. So it was a pretty funny system, but we had our messaging, and the users enjoyed it, and it just gradually grew. More people called. We had to add capabilities for them to get in and use it.
And people are calling in as we're talking here. It seems like most of the lines are busy, or just about busy at this point.
Just about.
Yeah.
Just about. Oh, there's a few open.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, this is a quiet time of the year. It always is when school starts and college starts. It drops off, and it's true nationwide. Even the network mail is probably down to, well, around 3,000 messages coming in a day, where normally we're around 4,000. So everything is slowed down, but it will pick up. It'll pick up when the colder weather comes in.
So even with all these lines, though, people are limited to the amount of time they can spend on the board each day?
Yes, they are. There's various levels. We have a person over here.
63 minutes.
63 minutes left. It's hard to tell. So, but they do have various levels, depending on the level that they've chosen. Can have as much time as they want, depending on how much support they want to help us with.
And are there system operators that have, let's say, a single line, single computer system that upload data to this node here?
You mean other sysops? system operators?
Right. In other words, you said you were kind of an international or...
Oh, okay, yes, yes. I'm the regional hub for the East Coast. So, yes, I have about 7 what we call nodes, bulletin boards down the pike from me that send mail in and out every day. So they call, I would say my event runs around for intellect, say, about 11:30 at night, and some of them call prior to that and send me mail, and then they would call afterwards and take the new mail. So, yes, I have about 7 systems drawing mail from me.
And I would think there's probably people that have modems and software for it that really haven't gotten around to signing on to bulletin boards, but I would highly recommend it, and especially if you want to learn about computers and then get into other fields and other topics too. There's just so much on the board.
That's true. It's another world, really. For people that are housebound, or even, we have a lot of people that are invalids. We have people that, actually we have some people that actually type with mouse sticks. And for them, it's a very good thing, because it gives them an opportunity to get out and communicate and actually do something that's worthwhile to them.
Do you see the day coming when you'll go one step beyond and you'll have an online encyclopedia and you'll have things to do with financial stuff, or are you going to leave that to the major networks there?
It's available now. I don't carry it because of the prohibitive cost of licensing the actual encyclopedias and things. You'd have to call the larger online CompuServe or Genie or something like that. Most bulletin boards won't have it just because of the cost involved. But it is available if you do want to do that.
I know I belong to, I subscribe to Prodigy and sign on to several bulletin boards, and no one system has everything on it. And the good thing about local systems is you get local events, and local people around here are signing on too, and you can keep in touch with them very easily here.
I would say the hottest thing coming down the pike right now is what we call internet mail. Internet mail is a network of universities throughout the world and military installations, for those that have read The Cuckoo's Nest. Internet is on a grand scale what you see here, but they would have hundreds upon hundreds of conferences, and perhaps mail on a scale of perhaps 20 megabytes a day just going in and out, and that's around the world. Some bulletin boards, the larger bulletin boards in major metropolitan areas, are carrying it. There's a tremendous cost involved, perhaps $30,000 or better just to get into it.
Wow.
And it's nothing you'll see locally here.
Well, we'll stick with our local stuff. Is the 2400-bit modem the most popular one right now?
Right now, I would say that's about 70 to 75% of the usage here. Although you're seeing more and more fast modems on the market, we have at least 25%, 9600 baud or better, very fast modems. The prices have really come down in the past few months alone, and in the next year, I would expect it to drop even further.
And that's a good benefit to you too, because if people are downloading 200K files, the time difference between 96 and 24 is amazing. And I've heard people comment on that in a matter of 20 seconds, a huge file arrives or something which used to take many minutes.
Yeah, it's very important to me too, because we used to download our PC board software when we were in beta test from Utah, and to download the actual file at 2400 baud, you're looking at maybe 16, 18 minutes. And now with my faster modems, I do it in a minute and a half.
Right.
And of course, the phone bills are much less prohibitive.
Okay, well that's a pretty substantial look at this board here. If anybody is into PCs, this is the place to be, I'll tell you. There's got to be 15 computers around me here, and just about everyone is running. So I'd like to thank you, Dave, for letting us come over here. And
This is a hobby gone wild.
hobby gone wild. Is there can we give out the main number here?
I'd
Is
be
that
very happy to.
Which is what?
Area code 413-568-4466.
And that's right here. So
Right there.
right there. And well, I suspect that possibly you might get a bunch of calls if people watch the show and they see this number. They may sign on all of a sudden
Sure hope so.
to
I'd
the...
like to see a few of these modems come out of the closet that have been gathering dust.
Great. So we're in Dave Orr's den, PVCC bulletin board, and I'm Keith Davis for PC Voyage. Sign on when you get a chance. This is great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Thanks again.
Well, we weren't overwhelmed by calls, but we had a few in the process.
Well, you know, that was a great and informative interview that they did.
Very much so.
Yeah, I hope that we do more of those in the future. Now, here's Chip with this week's computer trivia question.
Here are this week's computer trivia questions. Number 1. How much data does a CD-ROM disk hold? And number 2. Name 3 types of color printers.
Thanks to Chip. And now our omniscient little news person, Bob Clements.
Welcome to PC Voyage News. Making sense of CD drive specs. If you're still in the market for a CD drive, CD-ROM drive, or complete multimedia upgrade kit, you've probably noticed that there are plenty of drives out there with very different prices. Some of the variation is marketing, but there's also very real differences in interface design and performance. Depending on what you need and what you're willing to spend, a drive that's a bargain for someone else may only be a headache for you. The most important specification for any drive is its interface type. Some drives, such as the Sony drives used in the Laser Library package, use a proprietary interface, loosely based on the ISA IBM AT interface. Others use a more full-featured SCSI interface. If you have a closed computer, such as a one-piece Mac, a Next machine, or the more modest Amiga models, SCSI is your only choice. On a PC, if you get the appropriate board, you can go either for the proprietary interface, which is likely to be significantly less expensive, or for the SCSI deal. Most new CD-ROM drives also have an audio interface. Just like a CD audio drive, these CD-ROM drives include the chips needed to translate digital data in audio format to analog audio signals. Most offer a headphone jack in the front panel and audio connectors on the back of the drive. If you have an MPC system, you can route that audio information to your soundboard, where the onboard mixer circuit can combine it with signals from the soundboard's digital converters and synthesizers. With or without an MPC board, most of these drives also let you listen to CD audio discs using your computer as a rather expensive remote controller. Speed for a CD-ROM can refer to several different parameters. Unless otherwise noted, it's likely to be the average access speed, that is, the theoretical average of the time it takes to move from any track to another track across the disk. That's the most important part of the delay time between when your PC asks for information from the drive and when it starts to appear. For a CD-ROM drive, the average access figure is likely to be somewhere between 200 and 900 milliseconds, or thousandths of a second. Faster is better, but generally more expensive. A faster drive provides better performance in interactive applications or when the CD drive is used as read-only access to databases. However, because the CD specs call for adjusting the speed of rotation by track, constant linear velocity, and because the optical reading head is relatively bulky, even the fastest CD-ROM drive is pokey compared to a hard disk. In fact, the CD drives are 10 to 100 times slower. If you want really good interactivity, you may need to buy a big hard disk and plenty of memory for a buffer. A former Canadian computer magazine publisher has been accused of planting a computer virus that affected thousands of copies of a program produced by Seattle-based Aldus. Prosecutors allege that Richard Brandow, 28, of Montreal, planted the 1988 virus, which flashed a message in Aldus' freehand program wishing peace to all Macintosh users around the world. Brandow says he wrote the message to warn users about computer viruses. The code eventually found its way into the freehand master disk, forcing Aldus to recall 5,000 copies of the program. Brandow faces up to 10 years in prison. The world's first underwater word processor has been designed by a Fujitsu engineer. The unit features a pressure-resistant case made out of clear acrylic resin. It uses waterproof keys that are surrounded by rubber tubes. The system can be used at depths of up to 100 feet for writing notes or communicating with other divers. Good for taking your office to the sea. Yeah. Checkers champion Marion Tinsley has won his 19th straight World Drafts Championship, but his opponent in the final round, Chinook, doesn't feel bad. In fact, Chinook doesn't feel anything. Chinook is a computer. Tinsley, a 65-year-old mathematician from Tallahassee, Florida, played 39 games against the Canadian computer, winning 4, losing 2, and tying the rest. Prior to meeting Chinook at the London competition, Tinsley had lost only 8 games in a championship career that dates back to 1955. Chinook, programmed by scientist Jonathan Schaefer, remains the world's #2 checkers player. Portions of the PC Voyage news, courtesy of the Prodigy Service. Good night.
Well, thanks, Bob. Now, here's Chip with this week's trivia answer.
Here are this week's computer trivia answers. Number 1. A CD-ROM disk holds over 600 megabytes of data. And number 2. 3 types of color printers include dot matrix, inkjet, and thermal transfer.
And there's thanks, Chip. Next up.
Boy, you did that very well, didn't you?
Next up, Jim Dilks with Bits and PCs.
You remember it very good.
No, I was
On this week's segment, we're going to be discussing the pipe command, redirect command, and the filter commands. We're going to start out with the pipe command. In the pipe command, we take the output from the directory and we're going to pipe it into the find command, which is going to look for any program that has the characters in it EXE. Okay, the computer has now generated all of the characters EXE. Also, we have also included here is EXE text and any characters within this with the EXE extension or the EXE in them. In this example, we're going to take the dir, pipe it into the find command to look for any character with the EXE or any string with the EXE extension or any character in it, and pipe it into the more, so that what happens is the more filter will cause the computer to generate the characters onto the screen and then stop so that you can see the first page of the characters and we get the second page of the characters. In this next example, we're going to take the dir is going to pipe into the find filter, looking for the EXE characters again, and pipe the output from the find into the sort. and then pipe the output from the sort into the more filter, and the sort will arrange everything in alphabetical order. So now we have alphabetized the output, and we're stopping at each page. Okay. And that concludes my demonstration for this evening.
Thanks, Jim. And now, Chip is back again. Can we get rid of him? With our address, because we want your comments and your suggestions for this show. Chip.
If you have any questions, or if you have any comments about the show, please write to us. Our address is PC Voyage, P.O. Box 6295, Holyoke, Massachusetts, 01041. We appreciate hearing from you.
Thanks, Chip. Well, that was all in all a very informative show. Again, if you'd like to see us go out in the field and do something, give us some suggestions. As long as it's within a reasonable means, we'll go out and
Unless somebody wants to pay our expenses, then we'll go anywhere.
Oh, hey, Hawaii, it's perfect. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I don't know many software
like.
companies out there, but I'm sure we could find one.
Yeah, send us and we'll find one for you. All right. By the way, Gail, look, same jacket. Anyway.
Anybody hasn't noticed, yeah, it is the same jacket, believe me.
On that note, I think we'll close it up. I'm Andrew Doty.
And I'm Randy Laviolette. See you next week on PC Voyage.
Send me, 'cause you